1.
Hey guys, I'm Joe from Where the Good Things Grow, and today I wanted to talk about sourdough discard. Okay, there's some things that I think some people need to understand, why it's important to do, when to do it, and then what do you do with all of that discard once you've got it. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and it's time for me to feed my starter. So obviously you can see you wanna go ahead after every few times, just get a brand new jar and start with that. I've got my discard jar here, so I'm going to take the lid off of that. As you could tell, I had a closed lid on top of it, and that's so that when you store it in the fridge, that it doesn't dry out. Okay, and then also you don't want it to take on any of the smells or the scents of inside the fridge. Okay, so first things first. We've got this much starter, you can tell. I'm gonna go ahead and zero out my kitchen scale here. And I'm gonna take about half of this and put it in the jar. Okay. Now you can eyeball it and go from there once you've been doing it for a while. But I suggest for the first several times that you're doing this until you get used to what, 50 grams of starter looks like in a pint jar, just use the metric scale, okay? So now the rest of this starter is gonna go in here. So you wanna discard about half of the amount of starter that you have, all right? So now it says we have 64 grams. We're gonna go ahead and feed this starter since we got this going. It says 64 grams, so I'm gonna give it 64. So go ahead and zero out your scale. And it's gonna take 2 or 3 of these scoops. That's 40, and there's 61, 64, right on the money. Okay, so from here, you wanna go ahead and zero this out again. We're going to add 64 grams of water. All right, I'm gonna give this a good stir. And then you wanna go ahead and scrape the sides and everything that way that you can see when the starter rises and when it falls. I'm gonna go ahead and add a rubber band to mark where the starting point is. That way I have a visual and I'm not just guessing. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our starter mixed. I'm gonna go ahead and put a breathable cloth. And for me, I'm just gonna use this paper towel. Put that right there. Put this. There we go. Let's put this on here. And now we know where it's going to be. So it should be here, will be half, or at least double in size, and then so on and so forth. So we'll put that there. Now we have this sourdough discard. All right, so first of all, what is sourdough discard? Sourdough discard is unfed starter. It's a mixture of flour and water, and that's it. Now it's fermented. So just like your sourdough bread has all those great gut benefits and health benefits due to the wild yeast and the lactic bacteria, all those are great for your gut, okay? So you wanna make sure that you have those. So your sourdough discard does have some of those benefits, just not to the same degree as your other ones, okay? So definitely wanna keep it and you wanna use it. Now, I store mine in the fridge, in the door at the bottom. That way you know where it's at. It's kind of the warmest part of the fridge. Sometimes in the past I've left it up on the top shelf and just busy with life, and it's next thing I know it's all the way in the back, and I ended up doing it with a cloth like this instead of doing it with a regular lid, and it dried out. It dried out and I think it molded. So I just threw it away and started new. So keep that in mind. When you put it in the fridge, a regular lid instead of the cloth, switch them out. And what do you want to use it for? Okay, I use mine to make sourdough cookies. What was it? Chocolate chip cookies I think I made the other night, and the kids loved them. So it doesn't take on that same sourdough bread flavor that you guys have. It just imparts some of those fermented benefits. So we do tortillas, cookies, bread, apple fritters. You can use it for thickening your sauces or your gravies. You could also use it to add to your compost. You can give it to your girls' food. Your hens. I'm sorry, I call my hens my girls. And then another thing you can do with it too is you can dilute it in by 1 part of sourdough discard to 10 parts of water, and then mix it up really good, and then you can water your houseplants with it. Okay, it's a good little fertilizer for it. All right, and another thing, I've heard of some people coming to me in my classes saying that they don't keep a discard, that they just keep feeding their starter. So that they don't have to worry about the discard. But then they tell me that they have problems with their bread being flat and dense. Okay, well the problem with this is that you have, you're feeding your starter. You're feeding this much, or whatever it is. Whatever that amount is, you need to be discarding half of it, because this is hungry. It needs to eat. And if you're trying to feed all of this, you're not giving it enough food. So you're not getting that rise. And then you're gonna have the problem with it doubling in size consistently. You're gonna get very inconsistent, flat, dense results. So, okay, now let's say you've got a recipe. So you're gonna take out your starter, you're gonna go ahead and use that in your recipe. Then you don't need to discard. You've already discarded it into your recipe. All right. I can't think of anything else. One other thing. In the discard, sometimes you'll find that there's this liquid that's on top from sitting. So what that is the byproduct of of the wild yeast and the bacteria. That's kind of their waste. It's like it smells like acetone, and it's basically alcohol. So you can either stir that in, or you can pour it off into the sink. Some say it offers a little more ripeness to the starter, makes it give more of that tart taste that people are looking for. Yes and no. Mostly that comes from the long fermentation part, or the flour that you use in your recipes. I haven't noticed it really give a really big difference in the tart taste by mixing that in. So if there's any other questions you guys might have about your sourdough discard, go ahead and put them in the comments below. And thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notification bells. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.